I'm at the beggar for hugging my brother in front of my wife, despite knowing that makes my wife uncomfortable. I ask this because I know I have a skewed perspective on this. My family has always been more physically affectionate than most. My siblings and I were always hugging, holding hands, and cuddling with each other, and our parents until we moved out. This was never weird for us. It's just the way we were raised, and we never seen anything wrong with that. My wife is an only child, and her parents are the exact opposites. To this day, I've never seen her parents so much as smile at each other, which is fine. Different strokes and all that I don't judge. It did lead to some conversations early in our relationship though. I had to basically explain to her when she first met my parents years ago that no, I didn't find it weird that they showed any amount of affection in front of us. She and my family get along great. They know her boundaries and how she doesn't like to be touched by most people and always respected that. The issue is she once told me that she doesn't like when I'm affectionate with my family in front of her. She's not jealous or anything like that. It's just because of how she's raised. She has trouble separating physical affection from romance. Anyway, my brother lives a bit of driveway, and he came to visit for the first time in a few months. My wife got home a bit after he came over. We all caught up, and that was that. Then when he left, I gave him a hug goodbye. Thought nothing of that until I saw my wife's face. She looked freaked out. Asked what's up, and she reiterated that she wishes I wouldn't do that around her. She explained that if she had a sister, it would be like me watching them kiss on the lips. I told her I'm sorry that she has that thought process, but she needs to work that out on her own. I don't think I should have to stop doing something normal because it makes her uncomfortable. She says I'm biased because of how I was raised as well, and that my parents were a little too clingy with me. I understand the way I grew up was unusual, and maybe I'm letting that cloud my judgment, but I'm not the bad guy here. I'm not the bad guy for not letting a family use our pump for their deflated ball. My boyfriend and I belong to a local community center with a few basketball courts. Sometimes on the weekend we like to go there just shoot around and have fun. Unfortunately, the balls the community center has are almost always slightly deflated for some reason. You can remedy this by either bringing your own ball or your own pump. Since I already have a pump for my bike, we usually just bring that one and let other people use it too if they ask nicely. We have the courts to ourselves when a mom with her two 8-10 years old boys arrives. No big deal, they can use the other side of the court. The kids started playing and were having trouble with the deflated ball. Mom, who was sitting and watching nearby, noticed this and noticed that our ball was pumped. She came up to us and said we need to let her kids have a turn with the ball we were using, since it was the only good one. I told her that they are all always deflated and that we actually brought a pump to fix one so we could use it. I said she couldn't have our ball, but she was welcome to use the pump to inflate the one her kids had. She seemed offended by this and scoffed at me. I suppose you're not even going to inflate it for us. I kind of paused because I was taken aback, but then responded. Me, like, no, I wasn't, but you've changed my mind. Her, good. Yeah, now I don't think I'm going to let you use it at all. I turned back to my boyfriend and we started playing again, ignoring her stammering about how rude we were. The kids were watching the whole time and didn't say a word. They started playing again too until the mom got frustrated with us ignoring her, took them and left. After they left, my boyfriend said I went too far. He agreed she was rude, but said I should have let them use the pump because in the end it meant the mom got mad at the kids, couldn't play anymore. While I do feel bad for them, I wasn't going to let their entitled mother steamroll me. I think that's setting a bad precedent for both her and for her kids, that they will all learn that they can just bully people into doing everything for them. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the beggar for not trying harder to let my ex know our son passed? Both myself and my boyfriend were 28 when I found out I was pregnant. Together 4 years. Personally, I didn't want a child. My work was offering potential advances within my position, and I was excited for it. But after a lot of talking, we decided to go forward with it. When I was around 20 weeks, just after finding out the gender, he disappeared. I couldn't contact him. He wouldn't answer the phone or messages. I got worried and messaged his mother and found out he was living back with her and was overwhelmed with the situation. He kept playing his part of the bills over to my bank each month, but I received no contact. I even tried going over, nothing. By about 27 weeks, I gave up trying, gave up crying, and just got on with what I thought was a future as a single mother. I brought everything needed over the next couple of weeks and set it all up. At 31 week, I started having pains, but put it down to Braxton Hicks. Just before 32 weeks, my water went and I went into labor, with the baby coming very quickly. He went straight to NICU. I messaged and rang my ex and his mother. No response. Less than a week later, my son passed due to complications of early birth. I again tried to contact my ex and his mother, left voicemails and messages, just nothing. The next few weeks were a blur, but with the help of my mother and father, his funeral was arranged. They tried to contact ex and his mother also, still nothing. I sent more messages, nothing. I'm assuming we were probably all blocked, but honestly, at that point I didn't care. I was so broken. His funeral came and went. It was beautiful and horrible. I stopped messaging and told my family not to bother after the funeral had passed. I couldn't deal with it anymore. About 5 months after his death, Max turned up, just let himself in. I wasn't at home, but when I got back, he was instantly hostile. The flat was clearly not set up for no accommodating a small child. He demanded to see his son. I broke down and told him what happened. I have never seen him so sad and angry. He stormed out, slamming the door on his way out. Within half an hour, I got a nasty call from his mother, followed by messages from siblings, other family. How dare I not let them know something so serious? How could I hide something like that out of pity spite? I truly don't. I tried, but I couldn't keep trying. It's been nearly 3 weeks now of being awful. I tried so hard to let him know, but I was struggling so hard too. I lost my son too. So I'm not the bad guy here. Should I have done more? I'm not the bad guy for not having sweets in the house for my niece who's under my care. I've been the guardian of my niece Zoe for almost a year since my brother and sister-in-law passed away. I work full-time in a relatively high-stress job. Ever since I was 24, I've been on a low-carb diet. It's obviously not for everybody, but I feel better not consuming so much carb and sugar. It helps with my weight, concentration, and energy level. My diet consists mostly of meals served with fruits and vegetables, but if I crave a slice of pizza or a helping of pad thai every now and then, I don't beat myself for it. When Zoe came to live with me, I made sure to have carbs for her meals, mostly rice and potatoes. Also take us out to eat once or twice a week so we can explore different cuisines and local offerings. She has lunch at her school, and I give her a small allowance so she can buy whatever she likes within that budget. What I don't have in my home is dessert. I used to stock some when Zoe first came live with me, and will give her a small serving after her meal while I had some fruits. A few weeks of that, and Zoe asked why I didn't eat any dessert with her. And I told her, for me, fruits are yummier and healthier. Not long after, she stopped me from buying more of anything sweet when I took her grocery shopping and said she will have just fruits too, like me. I tried to serve her some dessert we had at her next meal, but she refused. A few more times of that, I stopped offering and gave her fruits instead. Zoe and I still enjoy dessert when we go out to eat. So the few days ago, a mom from Zoe's after-school club called me. She told me she brought some pies to the club and everyone enjoyed a piece, including Zoe. A lot of kids left school early that day, so there was a lot of leftover pie and she offered to pack it up for everyone there to take home. All the kids took some, but Zoe didn't, and told her we don't really have dessert at home. She was concerned that I was setting Zoe up for an eating disorder and that kids deserve to have something sweet in the house. I told her how it was, Zoe's choice to not have dessert, so I just stopped stocking them. I also told her I know Zoe occasionally bought sweets at school, so there is no need to add more sugar content to her home food. She said it was not right for me to set a low-carb diet lifestyle as an example for Zoe when she is still so young and should not be restricted from eating anything. Again, I tell her that Zoe can have anything she wants and I will gladly provide any food for her. But she argued that eating is a social thing and by seeing me abstaining from sweets, Zoe will do the same to feel like she belongs. I'm quite confused about this. I know from a raw nutrition estimate that Zoe is getting what she needs. She is rarely sick, and her martial art instructor says she is an active and enthusiastic student. I also don't think I should compromise my own choice diet so my niece can have dessert at home. So, am I the beggar here? Am I the beggar for telling my friend her husband dated her as a date? I met my friend S through my boyfriend R. She's the wife of R's best friend D. All three of them went to high school together. How it started, my boyfriend, who is pretty well off, made a joke about going broke after he sent S and D an anniversary present. I laughed because the gift was kind of pricey. My boyfriend was drunk and revealed that D had asked C out on a dare in high school, and that he will get $1 a day for every day he dated her until S got the hint. It would be unfair, my boyfriend explained, if D broke it off and he will have to return double the money. My boyfriend showed me the all-dare contract and it was the most disgusting thing I saw. They wrote a lot of jokes about S. S is at a healthy weight, but she's just a little rounder in her face and body, and they call her Skinny Piggy, Pooch, and kind of the stuff. He made me promise to keep it a secret. I was torn on what to do because I always thought D and S had a happy marriage and he treated her well, but I would want to know if my boyfriend wrote things like that about me. I invited her out for coffee and told her everything. I had to sneak pictures of the dare contract at my boyfriend's place. Hess broke down sobbing. She said she had to pretend she didn't see it because they had 2 children together, and D has been a great father and husband. Since then, S has been weird, like she's gone through the motions of life. She looks awful all the time. My boyfriend sat me down yesterday and asked me if I knew why S was acting so weird. D's worried about her, and he wanted my boyfriend to ask me in case something happened. My boyfriend was being so kind, and I broke down and admitted I told S the truth. My boyfriend was upset and asked why I would ruin their marriage like that. He said that S and D were happy before I stuck my nose in. They had been immature children, and I ruined everything. So I feel so bad. Am I the bad guy? I'm at the bad guy for refusing to pay for the trip my daughter wants to go and not allowing her to go on mine. Trip is on the 4th of July weekend and involves me, my ex-wife Chloe, and my daughter. We have been divorced for 3 years and the co-parenting relationship has been very difficult. We ended on bad terms and we still do not see eye to eye on parenting styles. I try to be the best dad I can, but this situation was the final straw. The reason me and Chloe divorced was primarily finances. We both worked full-time whenever we started dating. Whenever our daughter was born, Chloe stopped, then back to work till our divorce when our daughter was 11. During that time, I was pretty much an ATM. My ex-wife paid for literally nothing. I paid for everything, including dinners, groceries, entertainment. My ex-wife paid half the mortgage, and that was her only financial contribution. I will bring up constantly about how I felt used. Her response was that I was the man of the family. She claimed that she wanted a traditional marriage, where the man provides, and I said that I expect a traditional wife. Clean the house regularly, have a meal on the table when I get home, etc. She said she worked full time, so shouldn't be expected to do it all. I said that you aren't a traditional wife, but I expect a financially good situation for yourself. This, along with some of her friends that I disliked, was enough for me to file for divorce. The trip is for my daughter's dance team. I don't want her to join in the first place, as she wasn't even interested in dance. Just the social aspect of being on this team. I told my ex I'm not paying for it, so she did. The trip is to go to Florida to competitions. It's like $1,000, and she gotta have a chaperone. Total cost with the parent will be $1,500. Clara asked if I will pay for half of the trip. I said absolutely no. She shall have plenty saved up from the divorce, and her private account she never touched. Since it's her weekend, I don't feel like bankrolling her vacation either. She said it's not a vacation, and I said absolutely it is. If I pay half, then it's making her trip cheaper. I said she shall have money saved up, and if not, there's her problem. My daughter is pissed because my ex-wife told her they couldn't go. My daughter asked why, and I told her the exact reasons. That her mom is cheap and unwilling to open her accounts, and I'm sick of being an ATM. My daughter then asked if it was because I was going on a trip with my girlfriend. I said I was going on a trip that weekend with my girlfriend, but that had nothing to do with it. Our trip had been planned for months, and it was my money. My daughter asked if she could come on my trip, and I said no. It's her mom's week, and she has told me countless times she doesn't like my girlfriend. Even though my girlfriend was being nothing but nice. Why wouldn't I subject my girlfriend to that on her vacation? She deserves a nice trip as well. Well, my daughter called me a bad guy, and it's still giving me attitude this morning. So, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for telling my stepsister no one cared about her wedding after she wouldn't stop comparing it to mine? I have a stepsister, Maggie, whose mother, Mirinda, is married to my dad. I grew up mainly with my mother and stepfather, so didn't see Mirinda or Maggie that often. Also, Maggie and Mirinda have a massive chip on their shoulders about my dad's extended family, so they stopped coming to most group things, and I spent a lot of time staying with my grandparents during holidays, so I saw them even less. For various reasons, most of my dad's family has converted on the same area in the last couple of years, so we see each other more often. Maggie got married last year, and I'm getting married this summer. The weddings are not close together and not comparable in terms of venue, size, aesthetic, literally anything, but that hasn't stopped Maggie comparing them initially. She's annoyed that my dad offered to pay for mine. I refused, but didn't for hers. She's mad that I'm wearing heirloom jewelry for my wedding that she wasn't offered. She's mad that extended family will be attending my wedding when they didn't attend hers. She has gone so far as to say that she should have married my fiancé since she is closer in age to him and they skipped her. She believes my marriage was arranged. It seems to boil down to that she didn't get the wedding she wanted gratis, and she's still bitter about it. About a week ago, all the family had dinner. The subject of a family member came up and their accommodation for the wedding, and Maggie chimed to say how nice it was that they were able to make it to mine because they were too busy to come to hers. No one acknowledged what she said, so she started to talk about the excuse they'd given at a stupidly loud volume so that everyone had to listen. I'm not a confrontational person, but a mix of wine and exhaustion took over, and I said, "No one cared about your wedding a year ago. and they're not going to start today, so please, just spare us. There was an awkward silence until everyone moved on, but Maggie started crying and quietly left the table and eventually went home. My dad says she's too humiliated to talk to anyone and probably won't come to the wedding. My dad is pressuring me to apologize because Miranda is giving him a hard time, as is Maggie. He says I know how much it hurt Maggie that a lot of the family pomp was not part of her wedding, and while she has taken it too far, I went for the jugular and I don't need to, because she wasn't being disparating to me. She was just inappropriately expressing bottles up feelings. To me, it feels like she was using my important life event to draw attention to herself, which felt unfair and mean-spirited, which is why I reacted that way I did. That said, it seems like she's not brushing off my comments as easily as I did hers. So I'm wondering if I took it too far. What do you think?